Hello and welcome to Mind, Body, Sleep, the podcast for anyone out there who wants to understand and recover from insomnia using a holistic perspective. I'm Beth, Kendall, your host. Let's get started. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. It's so good to be with you today. Spring has sprung here in Minnesota. I couldn't be happier. May is my all-time favorite month. My name is Beth. I'm a sleep coach for people with insomnia, and I created this podcast to help people think differently about sleep and let you know that it is completely possible to get free from the constant fear and worry that you'll never sleep normally again. In this episode, I'm going to build off a video I made recently in the mentorship community about a very innocent mindset that kept me stuck for years. And I really hesitate to use the word mindset because the truth is, you really don't need any sort of mindset to be able to sleep. If you were to ask a normal sleeper what mindset they have to sleep so well, they wouldn't understand the question, right? They'd be like, what do you mean? There's no conscious effort or thought around maintaining a particular mindset. They just go to bed and sleep, and that is pretty much the end of it. The other thing about the word mindset is it implies this undertone of effort. But again, effort isn't required for sleep because it's a completely passive process, right? It thrives on not doing much at all. It's actually when we develop a mindset that sleep turns into something else. It becomes something we desperately try to do versus something that just happens unconsciously all on its own. So that's what I'm going to speak about today. And again, this was the mindset that I was in for over 40 years. So if you notice your brain doing the exact same thing, just know that you're not alone. And this really is at the heart of insomnia. So the mindset that I'm talking about is the "is this working" mindset. The "is this working" mindset likes to show up as, is this going to work for me? What if this doesn't work like everything else? How long until this starts working? Does this work for everyone? I tried XYZ and it finally started working. There are lots and lots of interesting ways the "is this working" mindset likes to show up. And it's such an understandable way of thinking because we learn in early life to think in terms of outside-in solutions, right? We take a pill and wait for it to work. We utilize a technique and attach it to an outcome. We're looking for something outside of us to work because we place a lot of trust and value onto external things. Hardly anyone out there is reminding you of how incredibly powerful you are. That's just not a message we hear too often. But I think it's the one we need to hear, which is why I'm reminding you right now that you are amazing. So again, insomnia, in my opinion, is the transition from sleep as something that happens to something we do. What once was an internal process becomes an external process based on achievement and finding the right thing to work. Now, I can tell you, after going through this for so long myself, that this is an endless hamster wheel of trying a million different things and never really getting anywhere. Because at the heart of the problem, or at the heart of insomnia, is the belief that we need something to work, that we need something outside of us to fix our sleep. That's really what's driving insomnia. Looking for something to work is what kept me chasing my tail for all those years. And it wasn't until I realized that I didn't need anything to work because there was never anything physically wrong with me that I started coming out of insomnia. The "is this working" mindset was so deeply ingrained into my identity and how I was thinking about sleep that I just couldn't see how I was doing it. So if you're listening to this and there's a part of you that is on board and there's another part of you that is completely skeptical, that's okay. I totally get it. It's exactly how I'd expect you to feel. So let's take a look at 3 ways the "is this working" mindset can keep us stuck. The first thing the "is this working" mindset does is keep the brain in problem-solving mode, right? We are all excellent problem solvers, and I personally love this aspect of myself and would not want to change it, but sleep is just one of the few things in life that responds paradoxically to problem solving because it turns the brain on instead of off. It creates more mental activity, not less. When we pay attention to sleep, so does our brain. It also puts the attention on sleep versus the barriers that are getting in the way of sleep. And this is the angle we're coming from in the mentorship, because we take the approach that there's absolutely nothing wrong with you, your brain, or your ability to sleep. You've just developed some barriers to sleep, and that's where we put our focus. And lastly, it creates more pressure and monitoring. Basically, it keeps the mind on guard because we try something, we check to see if it's working, we check again, and if it doesn't produce sleep instantly, then we feel anxious or discouraged, and we're back on the search for something else. And like I said, I did this for decades. I thought insomnia was something that was happening to me, and I thought the solution was outside of me. I didn't realize that all of this was just activating more stress in my brain. Okay, so what's the big shift here? How could we look at this in a new way? Well, I think that's pretty easy. We go from "is this working" to "is this helping?" One feels like pressure, the other like support. The first feels like fixing, the second like co-creating. For example, my noisemaker helps me sleep at night, but I don't sleep because of my noisemaker. Locking my cats out of the bedroom helps me sleep better because they're not driving me crazy, but it's not what's creating or producing sleep. There's a big difference between something supporting you and something saving you. The brain is going to perceive those things differently based on the meaning we assign to them. And the last thing I want to offer around this topic is to always give credit where credit is due. So what do I mean by that? Well, when you have a good night of sleep, always give the credit to your own amazing body, because the "is this working" mindset will want to jump in and lead you to believe that it was whatever thing you did or did not do that's responsible for sleep. But that is not the case, my friends. It's always the wisdom of your own sleep system doing the heavy lifting. So for those of you maybe a little further along in the recovery process, if you notice yourself still talking or speaking in the "is this working" mindset, no worries. I still hear myself saying things in this context, and it's not a problem. I hope this episode makes sense, everyone. If you feel inspired to leave a rating or a review for the podcast, that would mean a lot to me, and it helps others find this work as well. Until next time, I'm Beth Kendall, and you've been listening to the Mind, Body, Sleep podcast. Be well. Thanks for being here today. If you love what you heard on today's episode, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the podcast. And if you need more support with your sleep, join me in the Mind, Body, Sleep mentorship. This 3-month one-on-one program will transform your relationship with sleep so you can get back to living the life that you love, free from the fear of not sleeping. Head on over to bethkendall.com for more details. I'll see you next time.